welcome to OEW Rundown. I am Derrick Bond alongside Mr. Black. We will be going over the happenings of Spring Bashing. We are fresh off the happenings of this tremendous pay-per-view. In that first match, we had Harry Bedlam versus Miguel Santos. In this match, we saw some great back and forth action between the two men. Harry Bedlam was able to get the win by pulling off the Codebreaker after Miguel was able to block it not once but twice. What are your thoughts, Mr. Black?
Well, both of them good competitors, but I just think Harry had the upper hand that night. He was prepared and he was scouting, and that's all I can really say about that.
Yes, and following that match, we had a match that a lot of people were looking forward to. A match that was over a month in the making. The OEW Women's Championship versus the Vixens Featherweight Championship title unification match. Tiesa Pierce versus Nina Prater. Tiesa pulled off some tremendous moves, finally ending Nina with an amazing move, jumping onto the back of Nina as she was down on all fours, just smashing her stomach and face down into the mat to get the victory. But before we could crown Tiesa the winner, Angelina came on screen and told us that she was vacating the title. And, well, I guess Angelina isn't bowing down to Miss Pierce.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Angelina did get her fingers into that match, even so. Tiesa did win the belt fair and square, but guess what? Angelina has the last word.
Yeah, well, we'll get to her later because it seems like she'll be having the last word on almost everything now involving OEW. Then we had OEW Hardcore Championship match with Demon S versus Booger Sean, the title versus the mask. It was a great back and forth match. Booger was able to win after putting Demon S through a table.
Yes, I'm going to have to agree with that. It was a great match. Both competitors very, very good at their game, but I'm going to have to say Booger had the upper hand that night. But he had to spear Damon Scott off the stage through a table to get that win.
Is it Demon Scott? I wasn't sure what that stood for. Thank you for that great information. In the last match of the evening, we had the World Heavyweight title on the line in a Hell in a Cell, or as the Fatal Wolf would call it, the Wolf's Den, or as Bryce would call it, the Kennel. To me, Fatal Wolf's plan was working almost to perfection. He had Bryce to the point that Mr. Lexenstar was not going for pinfalls. Mr. Lexenstar was just trying to inflict as much pain as possible on the Fatal Wolf, as the Fatal Wolf just waited and was able to get several close calls and almost beat the champion, but Bryce was able to pull it out at the end as his wife was able to distract the Fatal Wolf by banging on the cage and screaming Wolf's name.
You know what? It serves Fair Wolf right for losing that match that night. You know, you never pick on anybody's wife or family. In fact, what he did was just disrespectful, and I'm actually happy for Bryce for getting him back in that cage.
Yes, I agree it was disrespectful what he did to Molina, but at the same time, it was almost genius because he was able to get someone who was a better wrestler and a better all-around athlete to come down to his level. He was able to get Mr. Bad Attitude to come out of Bryce to the point that Bryce was seeing nothing but red and wasn't even going for pinfalls. He was just going for Phil Wolf's blood and just trying to inflict as much damage as possible. He wanted to euthanize the Phil Wolf. He didn't want to just beat him.
Well, you know what? If I was in the shoes of Bryce, I would have been the same way. And there's not really much more I can say on that.
Yes, and I do absolutely agree with it. But as I was saying, it was almost a perfection plan, as Bryce's mind was not on the title. He even said on Controversy it wasn't about the belt no more. It was personal, and it showed in the ring. Well, that's it from OEW Rundown. I am Derrick Barden alongside Mr. Black. Thank you for joining us.